Coach, if you're ready.
Okay. Again, good to see everyone. Just starting off with update on some injuries and some injury situations. Evan Berry and Jacob Johnson will still be out for this game. Both individuals, though, are progressing, and we look forward to their return. Still don't know when, but they're getting closer and closer. The more video that you watch on South Carolina as the week progresses, the more impressive they become. Obviously, defensively, they take the football away, and they do a great job of getting all 11 individuals to the football, the way they game tackle, the way they try to rake the football out and separate the ball from your body. They do a tremendous job with that. Back seven's very, very talented and then big and physical up front. And then offensively, it all starts with the quarterback, Bentley. He really does a good job of managing the game. You can tell that he's their leader. He's in control, and as good of a tight end as I've seen in a long time, that we're going to have to account for him and everywhere he goes. And then, it's very impressive. They had 3 starting offensive linemen out last week, and were able to win and run the football and generate points. And a very, very good running back core, and then great length at the wide receiver position. It's going to be how we play the 50-50 ball, and again, complementary football in all 3 phases, but I've been very impressed with them. So I'll answer any questions y'all may have.
Steve?
Quarterback situation, there's some reports that he named a starter. Just any news on that front?
Yeah, Jared Garantano will be the starter, and he's worked very, very hard. And it's, again, Quentin did some very, very good things as well, and like I've continued to say all year long is, a lot of times the quarterback is a byproduct of execution and everyone around them, but Jared's worked very hard, and he'll have that opportunity on Saturday.
Jimmy?
Which your defense has improved since that opener. What are the reasons you think the defense has gotten better?
We've been able to take football away, but we need to take it away much, much more. So that's an area that we have to continue to grow and get better. I think we've done a very good job of tackling and being more gap conscious, more gap sound in our run fits. So I think it's been a combination of individuals playing to the scheme, executing their assignment, doing their job. And it's going to take everything that we have this Saturday with their RPOs, their misdirection, and then their physical downhill running game. Then obviously the way they throw the ball in the perimeter, and then the zone read. And Jake can keep the football, and he can get you 10, 15, 20 yards when he needs to. He can scramble and make plays, when there's nowhere to go with the football.
Mike?
Coach, on the quarterback decision players around him, is this a philosophical change as far as maybe some different things a more mobile quarterback can do, extending plays, and is it also possible that we'll still see Quentin Dormady get some snaps?
Well, again, each game is different in and of itself, but it's more so we just felt Jared has earned the opportunity. And again, we need to score points in this conference, and it's going to take points to win. And like I said, it's no reflection on Quentin. It's a lot of individuals around him. And Quentin has done some good things, but you're always looking for, what you feel gives you the best opportunity to win a football game. The scheme is the scheme. The scheme is in place. So it's more just, I think Jared's earned that right and that opportunity.
Next. Go back.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Coach. Which do you feel physicality has lacked, especially on the front with the offensive line?
Well, we pride ourselves in physicality, and make no mistake about it. And again, there's been some games where we've played with good physicality, and there's other games where we have to do a much better job with that. And again, it's a byproduct of a lot of things that go into it. And sometimes it's taking the right steps up front or your hand placement, and that affects physicality. A lot of times it's pad level. So there's a lot of things that go into being a physical football team. And if you don't play with great technique, you're not going to be allowed to play with a high level of physicality that we expect and demand. But we need to be more consistent as a football team, not just in the offensive front, but I would say more consistent as a football team in all 3 phases from a high level of physicality. And that's something that we take great pride in. In South Carolina, they're a very, very physical football team. And so it's going to be a great measure for us.
Patrick, Rob, and Blake.
But just how has Quentin handled everything the past couple of weeks since the Georgia game and with the switch and everything?
Well, Quentin's a competitor, you know, and obviously he was very, very disappointed, but that's what you would expect from a competitor. But, you know, I thought he had one of his better practices yesterday. He came out and he worked, and that's, you know, again, you're always one snap away. And, you know, we go through lives and we have setbacks, and it's how you deal with it, and I think he's dealt with it very, very well. It's, again, he's been disappointed, but when you're a competitor, that's what you would expect.
Coach, on the offensive line, I guess a few times it looks like you're going to be able to start the same five, and that combined with the open days, how much do you think that's going to help with continuity, and what are you looking for that group?
Anytime you can have continuity with those 5 individuals, it helps immensely, just from a communicative standpoint, from working together, them understanding each other, the line calls, the nonverbal communication, you know, the ability to understand exactly what they're thinking. That's very, very big. The thing for us is just the depth. You know, we're getting to a point where, you know, sometimes it affects how you practice. And so the depth is more of a concern than anything. But, you know, those 5 individuals working together, I think, really helps.
Butch, when you have a close loss in a key game, kind of like you had with South Carolina last year, is that something, do you revisit that and use it for motivation for the guys, or is that more of a last year's last year and this year's this year?
This is a new team. Obviously, our older players remember that, but if you look at, you know, since we've been here, if you look at the last 4 years, you know, the first year it came down to a last-second field goal, and Michael Pilardi put it through the uprights, and we were able to beat a top-ranked opponent. If you look at year 2, we go on the road and we're down by all those points, and Josh Dobbs leads us, you know, to I believe a double overtime win, and Kurt Magid did a good job of coming off the edge, and Derek in overtime. You look at year 3 here, close game, they're going down. I believe they have an opportunity to win the football game, and we do a good job of ball disruption and hunting the ball, and Jalen Reeves-Maven recovers a fumble, and then you look at last year, and we had the ball in the final possession with an opportunity to win the football game. So again, it's, you know, each year is different. Each storyline is different. This is a different team, but I think our older players obviously remember it, and I think it's a respect that they have for them because they are a very good football team.
Austin and Danny.
Butch, how have you seen the upperclassmen kind of take hold of this football team after the open day? Your seniors, the guys that have been here 4 or 5 years.
It's been great to see. Like I said, I think we continue to have emerging leaders. It's important to them, and you know, it's like I talked with some of our seniors about. You only have one senior year. You can't get it back. And how are you going to leave your legacy here? Well, how is your senior class going to be remembered? And you know, we kind of sat in my office and reminisced about, you know, their previous years here and their tenures and the previous seniors, and illustrations and great examples. And I said, one day there's going to be a younger player that you're impacting or influencing right now with your leadership and your poise and accountability and demands of the team. And so we've had some very, very healthy dialogue in terms of that. But it's important to them, and they understand what it is to be a senior here at Tennessee.
Danny and Mark.
Coach, Brian Edwards looks like he's clearing away their #1 target at wide receiver. They throw a lot of 50-50 balls to him. What's your game plan to slow him down? Will you have one corner follow him around wherever he goes, or just kind of whichever side he goes to?
Well, you always have to account for him, and you have to know where he's at from a formational standpoint, from a personnel standpoint. And it's going to get to a point where no matter what you do, when the ball's in the air, it becomes a one-on-one matchup. And that's why it's going to be critical for us to be able to play the 50-50 ball, and they want to do that, and they do a really good job with it.
Hey, Coach, in the back. Josh Smith said yesterday he doesn't think it's fair that a lot of the blame comes down to the quarterback position. That being said, what do you all have to do to put Jared in the best possible position to succeed this weekend?
I think it's, first of all, it's you know, having a game plan that plays to his skill sets. And, you know, really his skill sets are a lot like Quentin's in similarities in terms of being a drop-back passer and being able to throw the football. But you have to try to put him in situations where he can be successful. And, you know, football is a game of execution. And it's, again, all 11 individuals working collectively as one. And I think the other thing is poise, you know, and understanding that, you know, they're a really good defensive football team. They're a good football team. They're going to have successes. They've done it against everyone. But you just got to stay in the moment. And you have every time with the change of possession, you have to come and you have to regather yourself and kind of reset. And, you know, Jarrett's worked very hard this week along with Quentin. But again, I think it's execution and being able to execute for a very long period of time.
Wes?
Coach, do you expect Evan Berry back at any point this season, or what's sort of the situation there? And then with those two safeties that you've got now, with the guys behind that, you know, I feel like any of the young guys are progressing or getting themselves an opportunity to go out there and play.
We do expect Evan back, and like I said when I started, you know, he's progressing and we expect him back. There's just not a timetable. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks, it could be a week. But Evan has worked exceptionally hard to get himself back. So we fully anticipate him playing again. And we're very young in the back end. And, you know, Cheyenne LaBruza, you know, is a true freshman who's now in a major backup role at the safety position. And, you know, the other one is another true freshman in Theo Jackson as well. So we're trying to get them as many valuable repetitions as possible.
Last question, Jimmy.
You got the last question. That also means a free lunch.
I like that.
No passing the mic.
Not even to Mike. How close is Sean Tuttle to being back full speed?
Great question. I was with Shy this morning, and we spoke exactly about that. And I tell you what, here's a resilient individual, working very, very hard, and I see him getting better and better and better. And when you really look at the two injuries that he's suffered, they've been significant injuries, and a lot of times individuals never recover from those injuries. And he's as positive as there is, and he just works. And you know, he told me this is really the first time where he's starting to feel like his old self. And it takes time. It takes time from a conditioning standpoint. It takes time of trust from those injuries. And every rep he gets is very, very important. I think with every rep, whether it's in a game or whether it's in a practice situation, he becomes more and more confident in getting back to, you know, where he was as a true freshman. But I've been exceptionally proud of him and pleased with him just of his due diligence. He's always first in the training room. He's always last to leave, and he doesn't really say two words. He has a great personality, but that's a great question because I think he's getting better and better each week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.